My project was on Brazé.
Brazé was born on September 9, 1899 in Brazil, Austria-Hungary. He was born to an Armenian mother and a Hungarian father.
As a young man, Brazé studied painting and sculpture at the Hungarian Academy of Fine Arts in Budapest. In 1924, he settled in Paris, where he became acquainted with Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali. He was one of the numerous Hungarian artists who flourished in Paris beginning between the world wars. At a very young age, Brazé had to move to Paris along with his family. And man, this guy loved it. This guy was in love with Paris. He was fascinated. He loved Paris, and this was one of his main subjects in most of his photography. He loved the figures that appeared at night and how things looked in Paris. He would usually go for walks in Paris at nighttime, and many of those walks will lead to a lot of his well-known photography. Brazé portrayed scenes from the life of the city's high society, its intellectuals, its ballet, and the grand operas. He had been befriended by a French family who gave him access to the upper classes. Brazé photographed many of his artist friends, including Salvador Dali, Pablo Picasso, and several of the prominent writers of this time. In the picture on your screen, we have a photograph of Brazé and the famous Pablo Picasso. Brazé later wrote that he used photography in order to capture the beauty of streets and gardens in the rain and fog, and to capture Paris by night. Brazé was at the right place at the right time. The place was Paris, and the time was the 1930s. During this decade, Paris was the artistic center of Europe. He was taking pictures to accompany his articles for Hungarian newspapers. He had high artistic expectations, wishing to fulfill through his photographies. In 1932, Brazé discovered the graffiti on the walls of Paris, and he covered this subject for many years to come. Through his contributions to the surrealist magazine Minotaur during the 30s, he became acquainted with many writers, poets, and artists of surrealism. The surrealist artists were in search of ways to express their inner lives, the subconscious, and dreams. He began to work for Harper Bazaar in 1932, and he supplied that magazine with many photographic essays, famous literary personalities, and artists. In doing this project, I came across a quote that I think would be very helpful to photographers everywhere. Brazé said, "Chance is always there. We all use it. The difference is a poor photographer meets chance 1 out of 100 times, and a good photographer meets chance all the time." Here are some of Brazé's many photographs. For this project, we had to duplicate some of our artists' famous works. I took some of the photos outside, but I also took some in the classroom. Enjoy. Brazé later died July 8, 1984. Rest in peace, man.